Hello everybody, it is Ebontis, and today we're going to be working on the Swordmaster skill tree. First thing we're going to do is unlock it. Now if you've already unlocked it, you can jump ahead in the timestamps below, and you can jump to the advanced trainer, and we'll go through all the steps of that as well. So you get level 1 unlock first, and then we'll do level 2, level 3, all your capstones. We'll go through all the steps. Pretty simple, but I just want to cover everything with you guys as we go through it, and there will probably be a certain point where I'm going to recommend for the advanced trainer, make sure you have enough skill points to be able to unlock certain things, and a couple pieces of equipment to make sure and bring as well. But for the first piece, we're going to go through the unlocking. Again, if you're looking for the advanced stuff, jump ahead in the video and you can jump right there. First one we're going to do is the unlock at Pinnacle Station. So if you find eastern and western Vermilius Gap, north above that, right here on the border of, like, after Hagga Rift, then you've got Jabal Afrit Gaharb, sorry for the horrible pronunciations, I'm sure, in Eastern Shield Wall. Right on this little border is Pinnacle Station. So Pinnacle Station is going to be where our initial vendor is for the Swordmaster. So coming in from the eastern entrance over here, feels a little bit more obvious. Tucked right over in this corner right here is going to be our initial quest giver. So once you talk to Arno, we're going to get our first piece of the quest, and it's going to say find Devil's Eye Canyon and search the wreck of Pallas. This is going to be way over here. So already I'm going to give you a heads up. There's going to be a lot of travel on this one if you don't have an ornithopter outside of getting the initial part unlocked, but this might be one I would wait until later because the ornithopter is going to help you flying around a lot. So we're going all the way to the corner over here of Jabal Afrit al-Shark, and we're going to check out the Devil's Eye Cavern over here for step 1. So I'm going to fly over there, and I'll show you guys what happens when we get there. Alright, so we arrived over here in Devil's Eye Cavern. Looks like we've got a couple areas right over here. So you're going to have a few enemies waiting for you. Go ahead and take those out pretty easily. And then over here on the right-hand side, looks like our destination is going to be inside of this area right here. And we got to go inside to make sure, again, listen for booby traps. And we can head around the corner. Probably going to have a couple enemies waiting. Here we go. Keep an ear open. And we're looking for this crate right here. So if you just follow that path, should be able to pick up that crate. And after the search, I'm going to guess that we're going on to the next one. So from here, once you get back outside to your ornithopter, we are going to head back to the wreck of the Pallas. So not the radiation zone, but we are in western Vermilius Gap, kind of in the northern section, the one big green ship right here. We're going to head over there, and we're going to look for a way into it. It says it's right here on the top, so we might be dropping in the middle. Once I get close, I'll drop in and explain where to go. Alright, so when you get out here to the wreck of Pallas, you might have a couple side entrances, but it's going to want you to actually go in the very top. So again, western Vermilius Gap, the one big green ship on the map. And if you go to the top surface of it, you're going to notice a big giant kind of crater in the middle. You're actually able to fall down in, but be prepared when you do. There will be a lot of enemies in here. This is kind of the way to get to the final door in this area. So make sure that you're kind of prepared for a decent fight. Once you clear the enemies, get a decent point to breathe, what you're going to need is, we need to go in that door, but we need the key first. Just do a, from your landing and facing the door, just do a quick 180. Sorry about my dog barking. Can't help that in the middle of a recording. And then when you come up here, you've got 2 doors, so make sure you bring your cut array. This is kind of an important piece. That one's just got a couple good chests in there. And then this side is going to have your ID band and probably a chest as well. At least some ammo for sure. So now that you've got your ID band, we can hop back down. There's quite a few enemies in here. My dog is telling me somebody's outside. I apologize. Probably just a dog going for a walk. So now that you've got your ID band, we can head in here. And again, remember, just be prepared for what's in here. You might actually have a fight coming your way. And if you're coming from any of the side areas, just know those are going to be radiation. So spend a very limited amount of time in there because it is instant death if the radiation builds up completely. Once you get in here, you're probably going to be facing some more enemies. Oh, come on. I do enjoy my drill shots. They're pretty powerful. So again, decent fight, something similar is what you're going to load into when you drop down. Probably got one more. Alright, you'll know everything's clear when the doors go green again, so you should be good to do what you need. And as you can tell, come right back here. We're going to actually get some materials. And then I'm about 50 meters away from what I actually need to pick up. We're going to have to head around the corner. Farther back. And this is kind of your big loot room here in the back. You've got the big science chest, which is always nice. But again, we're going to be looking for the specific thing for our pickup. So back here, and here is your container. What looks like maybe a knocked over safe. So if you get back here, you've got the big science chest, and then back here on the ground is what we're going to search. Now that you've searched the wreck of Pallas, the next step. And you can see the next step is going to be Inter-Imperial Testing Station number 76. So a quick reference on the map, once you get out of the wreck of Pallas, you're going to head northeast. Station 76 is over here in Jabal Ifrit al-Janub, right in this region. So if you go from Pinnacle Station, go southeast or northeast from the actual ship that we're at, should be right here for station number 76. Once I get to the entrance, we'll walk through and find what we need. Alright, so once you get to the entrance of Imperial Testing Station number 76, good way to spot it is that thing on kind of the big cliff wall. If you're coming at it from the direction I am, the entrance over here is just kind of on the eastern edge of this block in Jabal Ifrit al-Janub. But I took the eastern entrance coming in from this direction. You should see this. And when you go down in here, you're going to need to basically do the full loop. But I do want to point out kind of a quick run through if I can, since hopefully everything should be dead since I just ran through it. And what I want to just point out is the direction you need to go. So if you want to speed this up or jump ahead, that's fine. But you pretty much need to go all the way through. But if you make it to the science chest, you've gone too far. I will tell you that. So when you come in, I've got the purple key to enter over there, but that's the exit basically. So come over here to your left, and we're going to go just a quick straight run through. Everything should be dead, so this shouldn't take too long. So come over here, grab any of the chests or gear that you see along the way. It's a good way to stock up on those blue supplies that we still occasionally need for crafting at random points. Speaking of, there's one right there. I got most of them already, so I'm not stopping for a lot of them, but they're there, so you may as well pick them up. And then as you run through, when we get to the section where there's kind of forks in the road, I'll kind of explain where you actually need to go. So right to the right. I don't think there's anything valuable in here, just a little money. When you get down this ramp, I think this is where it starts to open up. Yep, okay. You get to the forest areas, you're going to start to see groups of enemies in here. So you got a couple pair of enemies in here that you'll find. And then as you work your way to here, you're going to find the blue band. You're going to want to pick this one up. This is going to be your blue band here. And if you don't get the blue band, you know, this far in, and then you get towards what I would consider the boss area, make sure you come back and grab it. So as soon as you go through some of the basic, like down the stairs, you see the greenery, turn right for your blue band. And then when you come left, you'll have, I think, maybe a couple enemies in here, but honestly, the enemies start showing up after the blue band wall, so you kind of need it no matter what. So in here, you'll usually have two over here, one beefier melee guy up here, and then probably one or two surrounding over here. You'll see the purple door that you can't go in yet. So once the enemies are cleared, you'll use your band to actually enter here. This one will just open when the enemies are defeated. Grab your purple band right here. And then when you're done with this area, head through the purple door. You'll have a few more enemies in this next room. So again, make sure you're reloaded and healed up. So here's a couple chests, just a little bit to go through. And then this is the room with what I would kind of consider like the boss enemies. There's two guns in here, two more enemies. You'll know the enemies are dead when this door opens right here. When that one opens, the enemies are defeated. But come over here to your left, up the ramp. And this right here, this device, is what you're going to need to interact with to get your Imperial Testing Station search completed. Now that the testing station search is completed, it's going to tell us to go back to Arno at Pinnacle Station. So we're going to head back to Pinnacle Station. As you exit, don't forget your science chest. That's always an important one. That's definitely going to be worth getting. So come up here, exit over, there's your science chest, and you'll have made the full loop. So I'm going to head back to Pinnacle Station, and this should be what unlocks our Swordmaster skills for level 1 at the lower tier, and then we're going to get to the advanced. So back to Pinnacle Station. Alright, when you get back to Pinnacle Station, we're going to talk to Arno with everything we've searched, finished our task, give him the coded message, and we should be able to get our initial skills unlocked, which is correct. So, Swordmaster skill tree is unlocked. You'll get a little bit of Solari and XP. It's another reason to do all of this. Save these skill points. We've got certain ones we're probably going to need to unlock. I'll get to those a little bit later. But for now, at this point, everybody should be unlocked. You can level up to level 1 on all of these. Capstones are still closed. Now we're going to transfer over to the advanced skill trainer location and the full run through for the advanced quest path. Alright, so now we're at the advanced section of the Swordmaster quest. And to get this thing started, you're going to need to go to Harko village. And if you have any issues with the map, what I've noticed is, like, if you want to get up to see the top section, it won't sometimes scroll all the way up there. If you zoom in one time, then move the map up and then zoom out once, it seems to show more of this top section and leaving the bottom something you can still get to. It just seems to fight me up on the top. So if that happens to you, just wanted to explain that piece. So you're going to need to be way up here just before basically the exit in the northern, just middle section up here. And you're going to be looking for this guy with the blindfold on. This is Seron. Seron, probably Seron is what I'll call him. And we're going to talk to him and get our first step for the quest. So once you talk to him, you'll need to go to Hanavar's bar. And we're going to go over here to this far western corner. I'll just kind of walk over here with you guys. We're going to search for clues. Then I think we have to go to the back room, and then after that, we're going to head back to him once we kind of get this sequence of events to transpire. But if you want to follow along with me, you should be able to. Walk all the way over here to the far corner and get what we need. Way over here in the corner. Interact with that. And we've got a contract made for a group to punish Seron, issued by Alara. So now we're going to go talk to Alara about the contract, and she is back here. So if we talk to Alara, she's waiting right here. I'm going to go through the dialogue. If there's anything major, I'll point it out. Otherwise, once we're done with the dialogue, probably heading right back to Seron. Alright, after you talk to her, I had 2 quests pending, so it took a little bit, but after you talk to her, just about knowing the information about Seron, we're going to head back to Seron, and then he is going to send us on our quest. We are going to be going to Hagga Basin, and if you're looking for an entrance, you're looking for probably 12 o'clock dead middle. That's probably going to be somewhere, maybe 11 o'clock. I think it's going to be split the difference, so 6 of one, half dozen of another. And that's where we'll be going once we talk to Seron. So, we meet again. Finish this one regarding the task, have sandflies very well, and then, once you've got that one, he's going to tell us to recover the hilt. So, enter the Sandfly base at Western Comms. So we are going to be headed back to Hagga Basin. We'll go enter in the northern section, maybe 12 o'clock or 11 o'clock, and I will meet you in Hagga Basin and show you where to go. So once you report back to him after talking to Alara, the next step of the quest is back in Hagga Basin. As I was saying, I did figure out your better entrance is going to be 11, because it gets you about over here by this, like, Imperial testing station. 12's over here, they're both fine. Just don't load in at, like, 5 or you're in for a bit of a flight. Once you get in the area, fly a little bit down here, and you're going to be in Eastern Shield Wall, just the left-hand side of it. And we're going to the Eastern Comms, but, you know, I've got it tracked right now, so it's circled pretty easy. And I'm parked a little southwest of it, so you guys can see me perched up on this hill. Now, Western Comms is a pretty chunky base for enemies. You've got flamethrowers, multiple. You've got snipers. You've got a lot of enemies. And I think it's one of the chunkier enemies, maybe on the mid-level, that might have the hilt, or it's going to be in a chest. I can't quite remember which one. But I'm going to go through here, I'm going to clear everybody out, and then once I know exactly where it is, or if there's a certain enemy that drops it, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys that. And then afterwards, we're going to head back to Seron. So I'm going to head in, clear everything out, do the same, do it safely, make sure you're armored up, weaponed up, healed up, all that stuff. And then once you've figured out who's got it, I'll show you who that is. And then we'll be headed back to Seron to turn this hilt into him for the first step to be done. For now, let's go clear this thing out. So if you were looking at Western Comms from kind of what I would call the front entrance ramp, if you want a map point of view, northwest look. When you come up, there's a lot of enemies. So you're going to have multiple flamethrowers, multiple gunners. Be careful, as I said, from up there. I picked off some with a sniper from up there. As I got closer, they were moving around. And once you get here, you've got a little bit down there, but honestly, where you're going to need to go is up one level here. And then as you come up one level, this is the room where the boss is going to be. Boss will be in here, beefy flamethrower, weird makeup, almost looked like an alien to me. I don't think anybody else is going to see that. That was probably just me. But you'll have multiple enemies in here. There was also somebody tossing grenades, because I kind of stuck back here, and there was somebody tossing grenades from below. So if you really want to clear everything out, be careful, do it from far away, and then work your way around. You also might want to clear the upper deck, because there's a ton of enemies up here who might just march down the stairs to you. So if you're worried about getting pinned in, clear everything and do this room last. Big, beefy flamethrower, weird makeup, look for that one. And then when you come in, they marched out of here, but they will actually have the item on them when they drop their corpse. So check the corpses, especially the flamethrowers. Should be able to find Seron's sword hilt on them. And then after that, what we're going to do is head back to Harko and return the hilt to Seron. So going to head back to Harko and see what the next step is. Alright, so we are back at Seron. I'm going to give him his hilt, and then we're going to get to the next part of the quest. So we're back in Harko, in case that's not clear. So you go through some dialogue, and now you've got level 2 Swordmaster skills. Talk to him again, and we're going to get the next step that is going to be quest step number 3, Piercing Eyes. So after you finish your dialogue, which is pretty lengthy click through for Piercing Eyes to get started, you're going to go to the Black Market Trader and ask about Tillo's eyes. And the Black Market Trader is actually in the bar. So if you haven't talked to him before for other things, we're going to be doing that now. So head back down over here. And the Black Market Trader is just the bartender, kind of on the side of the bar. Once you head to here, look for the big, I don't even know what to call that thing. Somebody in the lore world probably does, but you're going to cross over here. Here's your Black Market Trader. And again, like we've had to do on, I forget which quest it was, you want to ask about the brandy, and then you're going to ask about the prosthetics. And that allows us to get that quest step done. And then we're going to inquire about the eyes with the Tleilaxu trader. So this step is going to take us back to Hagga Basin, and this one is going to take us to Pinnacle Station. So we are going to be headed back to entrance number 12. So this will be top dead center, and I'll see you back in Hagga Basin. All right, so when you get back to Hagga Basin, make sure again you fly into zone 12 at the top. You should come in somewhere kind of around here. That's my entry point. And Pinnacle Station should be right here. When you get to Pinnacle Station, you're going to talk to this wonderful character right when you walk in.
Welcome back.
And he's looking for prosthetic eyes, and what he's going to tell you is you actually need to go do a different contract for him called Lab Cleanup before you can actually get what you need to take back to our friend in Harko Village. So we're going to accept this contract, and now we have a different task to do. So for Piercing Eyes, we've actually got to switch it over to Lab Cleanup and complete Lab Cleanup. So now I've actually got to track that one. So enter Imperial Testing Station number 17, eliminate the, quote, experiments, and return to the trader here. So where we're going to be going is not too far from here. Actually, not too far from where you entered if you came in 12. It's right up here, testing station number 17. So we're going to go mostly north, a little bit west, and we're going to go into that station. So I'm going to fly over there, and I'm going to show you what the, quote, experiments we need to clean up are. Biggest thing I would tell you is just bring a decent couple of weapons. Semi-automatic rifle, maybe a shotgun, just a couple of things to keep you, you know, strong enough so you can take them on. So I'm going to fly over there, and I'll see you there. Alright, so when you get to Imperial Testing Station number 17 up here, come in from the east. It's pretty open. You can see the big entrances they usually have. You're going to have a few enemies here. I think I had 4. One was a sniper perched up here. Definitely took a chunk out of me, so just be ready for a little bit of a fight. I'm going to go inside depending on how this goes. If it's a far run, I'll cut ahead. If they're right up, then I'll show you what the experiments are that we've got to take out. I think it's just a few different enemies that we've got to fight, so let's cut ahead to that. Okay, these look absolutely bizarre. I'm gonna guess these are the experiments. Yep, they got some health too. Ow. Bad news, bad news. Yeah, these things look truly like aliens. So there's one. There's another one. I don't know if he's throwing a rock at me or what, but I don't want to mess with him. Okay. Those are the 3 experiments. They're truly right down the ramp. So I just ran down here, and as soon as you get here, they were waiting for me right down in this area. So now, I'm going to clean this place out. May as well just get the resources from here, but then you want to head right back to Pinnacle Station, Right back here, we're going to talk to the trader, and that's going to allow us to, for one, complete lab cleanup, and two, get what we need to go back to our guy in Harko village. So I'll see you guys at Pinnacle Station for a quick stop by, and then back to Harko after that. Alright, back in Pinnacle Station, we're going to return to the trader, let him know we've finished up with the experiments, and then now we should be able to get what we need for our next step. So if we go to our journey, come down here to our trainer, Swordmaster Advanced, track this one, lab cleanup is done, and we're going to deliver the eyes to Seron. So if you want to check your inventory, you can look for the eyes. There's the eyes, which is a little creepy. So now we're going to go back to Harko village, and I will see you there to give him his eyes. That is a very strange sentence, but that is what we are going to do. So back to Harko village with the eyeballs. Alright, so we are back at Seron here in Harko village, and we're going to tell him that we actually have the eyes. This is going to be a little weird because now he's going to have the eyes when we deliver them.
Please, now that the moment is here,
He's going to take off the bandage, and our dude actually has eyes now. So, that happened. Now we're going to pick up our next step.
Now, the self-pity drain you have done me. Let the blade.
So, that'll upgrade our skills. Now we're able to unlock level 3 sword skills, so that finishes piercing eyes, and we're going to head to Art of the Sword as the next step.
What have you learned?
So when you talk to him, we're going to ask for more, and we're going to unlock the Swordsman cap skill once we finish this one, and what you're going to need to do is basically use your skills. So this is where you're going to need a total of 9 skill points. Remember, if you do respec a tree to get some skills back, it does have a 48-hour reset, so keep that in mind in case you're doing these over a course of days or trying to knock them all out. The ones that you are going to need are Knee Charge, Crippling Strike, and Eye of the Storm, and just take the shortest path you can to get to those. This is not a bad one, just to make sure you get more bonus from your heal kit, so that's never a bad one to unlock. But generally, we're just going to need to fly to Hagga Basin, use these a few times. You can literally land anywhere. So I would land in an upper area just so you can touch the ground without being in the worm area. And then land, use these a few times. I'll go through just like a couple examples. And then we're going to come right back here and talk to Seron. So a little bit of flight back and forth. Again, why the Ornithopter is so important. So back to Hagga Basin, and we're going to use these skills. Alright, so I landed over here at basically 3 o'clock on the clock, really close to kind of just a little sand structure so you could get off the sand. And all it is just use the abilities, don't even have to hit a target. So like Knee Charge, for example, I've done it twice. This will be the 3rd time. After that one's done, you're just going to need to practice the other 2. So this next one is going to be Eye of the Storms. This is my Q ability. That's your cool, like, sword ability that you've got. Do that a couple more times, and then we'll do the final one, which is the Crippling Strike. And literally just use the ability, nobody has to be around, and we're going to fly back to Seron. So I'm going to do this a few more times and get to the next step of the quest. Alright, back in Harko Village, after testing your 3 abilities, we're going to talk to him, and we're going to finish up this quest. This is going to get us, I think, our first capstone. You can talk through those, what you learn. There we go. That'll take us to get our first capstone unlocked. And then we can talk to him again for our next quest, which is going to be an interesting one. So, did not mean to do that.
What have you learned?
So, again, he wants to get the Swordmaster skills.
His Excellence. Now I know of only
So, we're going to go talk to Duncan, Idaho. And this one also requires you to craft a sword. So we're going to need certain materials. We're going to first go to Duncan, Idaho so we can actually get the blueprint to create it. And then we'll talk about what you need to be able to get the actual materials so you can craft the sword. So accept the contract. Head back to Hagga Basin. You're going to head in from the top because we're still going to go close to Pinnacle Station, but we're not going to go quite there. This one is going to be just left of it, and we're going to be headed to Helios Gate. So this is going to be one of the Atreides bases. So head back to Hagga Basin, load in at 12 again from the top because it's still pretty close to Pinnacle Station, and then head to Helios Gate. If you don't know where that is, I'll show you on the map here in just a second. Alright, so for Forged in Dishonor, you need to introduce yourself to Duncan, Idaho, learn the Damasteel forging from Duncan, and we're going to have to craft a sword. So first thing you need to get to is Helios Gate. So if you load in from 12 o'clock again at the top, fly almost south and come over here to Helios Gate It's literally right on the corner edge of the eastern shield wall. This is what it looks like. Pretty cool looking base. And when you come up here, you just need to go pretty much to the top level straight ahead of me, but it's just not the easiest place to get to. So off to the side, make a big loop around the corner. Try to stay out of the sun if I can. And Duncan, Idaho is right here. We're going to talk to him. We're going to get the blueprint that we need. All right, so after you talk to Duncan, Idaho, you're going to get a blueprint, which you just need to get to any water shielded base. You should pretty much head back to your base because you've got to craft it and learn the blueprint for the Ceremonial Damasteel Sword. This will require aluminum ingots. So if you're not at aluminum yet, you've done really well to get here without aluminum, so I'd be surprised. So you probably know how to get aluminum and steel, plant fiber, blade parts, carbide scraps, and the large blood sack. Let's cover the blood sack first because I'm literally sitting right next to where you can make one. So for the blood sack, you've got aluminum ingots, micro sandwich fiber. Again, any Fremen, water sealed area with the orange camps, that will be good. Plant fiber, and you need insulated fabric. Now, insulated fabric, not too hard to find. If you go to your map, you go to the Odom. You're going to find it in a couple of these places that have the little, I don't know if they're considered villages. They have like platforming in them because they're quite vertical in how high you end up going. So Stone Step Village is going to have some. And then down here, Rockwarren Village had plenty. I went through and I found the big chest had 30 or something, and you need 6. So go to the Odom, couple of these corners where you've got these villages. I think there's one going to be up here in the upper left as well. Pick one, clear it out, open all the chests, should get enough. Now, the other thing that you're going to need for the weapon itself is going to be carbide scraps. This is where it may take you more than one run, depending on if you're unlucky on the randomness. Where you need to go is Missa Tiril, and you need to go to this big, I don't know what you call it, almost looks like an amphitheater, but it's all electrified, it's kind of crazy looking. What you need to do is start from the bottom and work your way in. There's a point where you get to kind of a big lowered arena, and then just at the end of that, before you kind of work your way back through towards the door for the ID band and stuff like that, make sure you open all the chests. There's some on the side in a couple of different places, and there's also, I will try and put a picture in here, because even I've looked up a couple of things. So there's supposedly like one chest up here. There's a chest over here, as you can follow my mouse along. On either side of this right here, you'll kind of find what almost looks like a stage in front of like a big area. There will be 2 chests there. Make sure you open those. And then way in the back, you've got the bonus chest where you're going to pick up the ID band. Make sure you bring a mining tool with you. So you've got the cutter. Bring a cutter with you so you can get the door on the left. Will give you your ID band so you can go through the final door on the right after you get to like the big kind of open boss room with snipers and one of those shielded enemies. That should get you enough. If not, gotta wait a little bit for things to respawn, because this really is one of the only places to get the stuff that you need, the carbide scraps. The other thing you're going to be picking up while you're in there is going to be diamondine dust, and that is something you are going to use at some point later on as well. So you may as well run that, if not once, probably a second time. Like maybe if you're doing something else, come down here, clear it out, and then go again. It's going to be part of some quests as well. I haven't done that yet. I haven't done everything. I'm just working through all this as we go. But that's where you're going to get the parts that you need. So come in here. You've got your aluminum, large blood sack. Make sure you get that thing crafted. Plant fiber, steel ingots, carbide scraps, and blade parts. So I'm going to craft that, and then we're going to head back. Once it's crafted, you're pretty much going to go straight back to Harko Village, and we're going to talk to Seron. So I will see you guys back at Harko to talk to him, and we're pretty close to the end. Alright, so once you've crafted the sword, and you're back in Harko Village, you're going to talk to Seron, you're going to give him the sword, complete the quest, that'll unlock your second capstone. Then you need to talk to him again, and you're going to be picking up the last stand of Seron Varlin. So we're going to accept the contract, and we're going to go and talk to, oh, what is her name? Alara. So we're going to head back into the bar. We're going to talk to Alara, and we're going to deliver his challenge, and then we should be able to go right back to him to finish this thing up. But she is back here in the corner. Sorry, she's actually back here in the back area. So head back here so you can talk to her.
Oh, look, the kitten. A challenge. Oh, do be serious, kitten. Our relationship is, let's see your mysterious.
So, pick up the letter and deliver that to him, and then we're going to head back to Seron. And you can either encourage him to fight or dissuade him. To make it simple, what you want to do is just dissuade him from fighting here. And that's just going to keep things simple and end the quest quicker. If you want to have a little more fun and experiment, it's up to you if you want to encourage, but to keep it simple, I would recommend the dissuasion. We're going to come back over here. And regarding my task, your letter of challenge will reach out to Count Finring. You should not go through with this, so try and dissuade him of it. You've proven yourself that you can forge new Swordmasters, so you're still a good trainer.
What of it?
And complete all swordsman training. So your fallen house survives only through spreading your teachings.
You're right. Let the blade
So go ahead and finish up your training. And you actually will get a really cool sword from doing this. The Jolt Sword, it's unique. Good amount of damage from the sword first off, and actually will also electrify upon parry and hits. Very cool sword, definitely one of the better ones that you're going to get, and that should complete it. So once you've crafted the sword, come back here, talk to him, talk to Alara, come back, talk to him. If you want to finish it quick, dissuade him, and then you will be done. And you'll have access to all of the top skills now on the swordsman tree. So you've got the precise parry, thrive in danger, and prescient strike, all unlocked. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like below. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed all my guides so far. More stuff to come. If you have questions of things you'd like to see from me, Benny Jesuit is the only video that I don't have up there yet. So that's the next one I will do. I started as this one, but I will still get the full complete guide up there for you. So stay tuned for that one. If you're enjoying my stuff, hit that subscribe button. Leave a comment just to say hello. Drop a like on the video if you found something that that was helpful. Share it with a buddy if they need it. And you can find me on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Blue Sky, just everywhere. If you find Ebontis, you found me. Thank you guys for watching, and enjoy your new sword and your new skills. Have a good one.